Okay, I want to talk about cutting these 4 angled pieces. They have tenons on the end that have to come in an angle. And so from looking at the drawing, I determined that we need, it works out to be about a 5-degree cut. And this angle is going to become relevant for everything. Now it is critical that all 4 of these pieces were milled at the same time. Because in order for the tenon to be the proper thickness, these pieces all need to be the same thickness. So that's very, very important. And now I'm going to show you how we cut these guys to length. I'm going to start by taking a piece of tape and putting these 2 together. I'm going to take, which are the lower rails. I'm going to take another piece of tape, put these 2 together, just to sort of hold it as a pack, and then I'm going to put a strip here, and one over here as well. Okay. So now this is basically a solid unit. It's 4 individual pieces, but they're being treated as a single block, and we'll cut them as such. At this chop box, I've set the blade to match the angle. So when I trim this piece, I'll be trimming them all. So I'm going to take my pieces, just put them up there like they're one solid unit. Now the fence is high enough where this is a safe thing to do. Then just cut through them all. I'm going to flip it over. And you need to pay attention to the fact that these cuts need to be parallel from each other. You don't want this, you want them both angled together going the same direction. So I'll make my measurement. Mark it nicely. And then go ahead and cut to that. Alright. So having done it that way, all of my pieces are the exact same length. I don't have to worry about any variations. So that's how we cut our pieces to length. The next thing we're going to look at is how to actually cut that tenon. Here's the basic setup that we're going to use. We have a tenoning jig that you can see from the adjustable bevel I have there has been set to match the angle. The blade is a box joint set, very similar to a dado head, but this is 2 8-inch blades that can be put in there to make either a 1/4 or a 3/8 inch groove, flat bottom groove. That's the important part, and without a scribe. So that's why I'm choosing to use this set. And I have it set for 3/8 of an inch with a 0 tolerance insert. So keep in mind for this setup, you're going to have to pull out the 10-inch brake, put the 8-inch brake in for the saw stop, mount the set, and adjust the brake so it's the proper distance away. This is a really nice blade set, runs about $100, and this will be available for you guys to use. Now on a test piece that was made from the same stock, I went ahead and laid out the tenon. And basically I came up 1 1/8 inches, because that's the length of the tenon, put a line across, came in a 1/4 inch each way, because that's the shoulder, and then just drew those lines up. So that's my layout piece, which I'm going to be using to set up for the tenon. Now it is critical, I can't stress this enough, that you always use a test piece and not your good pieces for the actual cutting. Alright, so I'm going to pop my test piece into the fixture, clamp it in place, and then go try to line up. So I'm going to loosen my lock and adjust over a little bit because this has got multiple adjustments. And I'm just lining up at the edge of that blade. And then I'm going to tighten it down. Alright, that looks good. Okay, now we're going to cut our real pieces. Slide it in, lock it, make sure it's tight down here. Keep your hand pressure out here and sort of lifting here because this thing kind of wants to tilt. A little adjustment. Now that we have the first set cut, we're going to reset it for the other one. I'm going to loosen my lock and dial it over. So now I'm dialing it over, getting a ballpark as to where I think it should be, and locking it down. Then we'll run a test cut. Now when I try to fit that to the mortise, I can see that it's clearly too wide. So I'll take another pass at it, cutting a little more off. Okay, having reset the saw, it's going in there now, but it's very snug. I do not want it loose. I want it snug. Now that I've made that adjustment and it fits, I'm going to go cut all the other ones. Okay, so there we have all our pieces cut, ready for hand fitting into the individual mortise joints. Now, I want to emphasize, don't go for loose. Keep them a little bit tight, and then we can sand them to tight, or sand them down to a good fit. Often when you cut tenons, when they sit for a day, they shrink up because they've reacclimated to the air. So you want them tight when you first fit them in there.